There's a painful truth that almost no one in the spiritual world says out loud. You're not struggling because you don't know how to manifest. You're struggling because a part of you still believes you're the person who doesn't get what they ask for. And I know, maybe you've watched the videos, read the books, repeated the affirmations, tried to stay positive, tried to raise your frequency. But it still feels like something important is missing, doesn't it? Like you're doing the work, but life isn't always responding back. That's not failure. That's misalignment. Because manifestation has nothing to do with trying harder. It has everything to do with who you are being while you're trying. The version of you who is calm, grounded, certain, receptive, and quietly powerful. That version of you has always been inside. Not waiting to be created, waiting to be allowed. And today, in the next few minutes, you're going to remember how to access that version. Effortlessly, daily, without forcing a single thing. But I'll warn you, what you're about to hear goes against almost everything you've been taught. It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like the opposite of hustle and try harder. But if you let it land, it will change the way reality responds to you. Forever. Ready? Topic 1. Switching on the abundance circuit. Belief, body, and daily state. They've heard people say, change your mind, change your life. But here's the kicker. The body has to believe it too, or nothing sticks. A wise mentor would point out that the nervous system is like a gatekeeper. If it's tense, it blocks the signal of abundance at the door. So the very first move is simple. Breathe in counts of 5, breathe out in counts of 5, and let the shoulders drop 2 centimeters. This tiny ritual starts to elevar energia in the body without any woo-woo fanfare, just biology doing its thing. As the breath slows, the heart rate follows, and the brain shifts from threat to possibility, prime territory to manifester. They don't need incense or a mountaintop. A quiet kitchen table at 7 a.m. works wonders. He suggests doing this for 3 minutes, twice a day, before emails or doom scrolling. That's how a Vibracio Elevata becomes more than a quote. It becomes a morning habit. When the body relaxes, the mind finally listens, and intention has somewhere to land. And once intention lands, curiosity wakes up about what's quietly waiting in the next room. He reminds them that belief is a muscle, not a lightning strike. It grows by reps, not hype. They can train belief by collecting micro-evidence, tiny wins that whisper, "See, it's working." Did a stranger hold the door? Did an old client message out of the blue? Did the commute feel lighter today? Write 3 of those in a pocket notebook titled, "Proof I'm Becoming Who I Said I'd Be." This catalog shifts the reticular activating system to scan for aligned chances to co-crier. Now they're not chasing, they're noticing, and noticing is a form of quiet power. He suggests pairing each entry with one sentence. I'm learning to sting a resultador without forcing. Is the grammar odd? Sure, but it becomes their private spell, a grin-worthy cue to relax into flow. Over time, the notebook turns into a mirror that shows a different face. Steadier, kinder, more certain. And certainty, once it takes root, starts asking for bolder experiments they haven't tried yet. They'll soon bump into an old pattern, trying to fix everything in one heroic sprint. That sprint is adrenaline in a tuxedo. It looks sharp but crashes hard. He invites them to trade sprints for silver minutes, 5-minute moves that compound like interest. 5 minutes to tidy the money drawer, 5 minutes to send one honest message, 5 minutes to stretch the lower back. These silver minutes elevam energia because completion feeds dignity, and dignity is rocket fuel. Stack 3 silver minutes and they'll feel suspiciously calm, which is the doorway to Vibracio Elevata. In that doorway, they set one micro-intention. Today I'll co-crier one helpful connection. Then they act on it, a voice note to a friend, a grateful reply to a mentor, a question to a potential collaborator. No grand speech, just a human moment that keeps momentum warm. Momentum loves warmth, and warmth loves to wander into unexpected rooms. Language matters, so he nudges them to talk to themselves like someone they respect. Swap "I'm behind" for "I'm pacing," swap "I'm stuck" for "I'm ripening," and watch the chemistry change. When self-talk softens, their nervous system stops bracing, and they can actually hear intuition. To manifest consistently, they'll need a playlist for the body, not just the mind. He offers a quick stack, a low drone track, a 70 to 80 BPM beat, and a gentle bell at the 4-minute mark. Play it during the breath ritual, and the body will learn, oh, it's time to elevar energia. He also suggests a scent anchor, citrus or cedar, so the brain tags the state with a smell. Now sound and scent team up to stabilize a vibracio elevata on cue, like flipping a switch. That switch turns on the abundance circuit long before any money hits the account. And when the circuit is on, they'll feel ready for a practice that moves beyond soothing into sculpting. Finally, he shares a practical state-to-action bridge so change doesn't float away like steam. Right after the breath and music, they ask one crisp question: what's my smallest move that changes the most? Then they write 3 answers and circle the one that scares them just a tiny bit, in a good way. Send the proposal, publish the post, or schedule the honest conversation for Thursday at 10. That tiny bit of stretch is where they co-crier with life instead of waiting on a cosmic delivery truck. As they do, they'll quietly sting a resultador, not with noise, but with clean, repeated signals. This is how inner climate becomes outer weather. Slowly, then suddenly, then obviously. They'll notice they're not forcing, they're aligning, and alignment is sustainable. The body believes, the mind agrees, and the day begins to meet them halfway. And when the day meets them halfway, another door appears that leads somewhere even more interesting. He tells them that most people lose their power not because life is hard, but because no one ever taught them how to manage their inner climate. When someone wakes up tense, the day becomes a negotiation with stress instead of a dance with possibility. So he promises something simple but rare: the ability to generate a vibracio elevata on command. Not through hype, but through steady physiological cues that the nervous system recognizes as safety. And when the body feels safe, it naturally begins to elevar energia without effort. That's the secret most never learn. Abundance doesn't start with desire, it starts with regulation. The person who can return to calm is the person who can manifest her consistently. And the one who can sustain calm during action becomes a co-author of their story. This is where co-crier stops sounding poetic and starts becoming practical. The moment this clicks, the world around them doesn't just look different, it responds differently. Now, he leans in with a quiet confidence that feels like someone handing over a key. If you stay with me through the next chapters, he says, you'll learn how to sting a resultador without chasing anything at all. And it doesn't sound like a slogan, because the foundation has already been laid in the body, the breath, the presence. He promises that soon they'll notice synchronicities. Messages arriving at the right time, opportunities aligning without force, people showing up who feel inexplicably relevant. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of the state inside. The deeper the vibracio elevata, the clearer the external response. And bit by bit, they begin to understand that reality isn't something happening to them, it's something happening with them. This realization does not arrive with fireworks. It arrives with a soft, almost mischievous smile. Because now they sense that something bigger is opening, and it's opening from the inside out. Topic 2. Emotional coherence. Teaching the heart and mind to speak the same language. He explains that most people try to change their lives using only thoughts, as if the mind were the whole orchestra. But thoughts alone are just flutes, pleasant, airy, inconsistent. The real conductor is emotion, because emotion tells the body what is real. When someone says, I believe I can manifest abundance, but their chest feels tight and their stomach drops, the body is speaking louder than the words. Emotional coherence is when the mind's intention and the body's experience finally match. That's when a vibracio elevata becomes stable instead of temporary. To elevar energia, they must align what they think they want with what they truly feel safe receiving. He invites them, gently, to stop fighting themselves and start listening. The heart isn't a poetic metaphor, It's a biological amplifier that broadcasts identity every second. And identity is what reality mirrors back. He introduces a simple daily practice to help the heart and mind learn to trust each other again. They place one hand on the chest, inhale slowly, and recall a moment, any moment, where they felt warmth or genuine connection. Maybe it was laughing with a friend in a cafe, or watching someone they love sleep peacefully. The scene doesn't need to be grand, it just needs to be real. Holding that memory, they breathe and let the warmth spread across the ribcage. That warmth is not imagination. It is coherence beginning to form. While holding this emotional tone, they repeat a quiet message to themselves: "It's safe for me to receive." This trains the nervous system to stop bracing against abundance. And when the body stops bracing, it begins to co-cry instead of defend. The shift is subtle at first, like a light turning up by one dimmer notch. But subtle is where miracles begin. He also makes it practical, because spirituality without application is just sparkles floating in the air. He suggests that once they enter this emotionally coherent state, they choose one small act that affirms who they're becoming. If they want financial flow, maybe they organize their wallet, pay a single bill with calm, or track expenses with dignity rather than fear. If they want love, maybe they send one sincere message of appreciation to someone they value. These aren't random chores. They are signals. Each action whispers to reality, "Look, I'm behaving as the person I claim to be." This whisper carries far when grounded in a vibracio elevata. One aligned act in coherence is more powerful than 50 forced efforts in panic. And this is where they start to stinger resultador through presence instead of pressure. They don't chase, they demonstrate. And demonstration changes the script. He reminds them that the subconscious doesn't understand language, it understands patterns. If someone says, "I trust life," but spends every day worrying, the subconscious will believe the worry because it is repeated. To reprogram the subconscious, they must elevar energia through consistent emotional states rather than forced affirmations. This is why emotional coherence is the doorway to sustainable transformation. He explains that coherence turns intention into magnetism. When the internal climate is calm and confident, life reflects that stability in opportunities, timing, and encounters. The famous synchronicities are not magic tricks. They are the echo of inner alignment. The more coherent they become, the more effortlessly they manifester. And the more they manifester, the more natural it feels to co-cry their reality in partnership with life. It's a feedback loop that upgrades their entire way of existing. As the topic deepens, he leans in, speaking with the tone of someone who knows what comes next. Emotional coherence is only the beginning. Soon, they will use this regulated open state to sculpt clearer visions of the life they are calling in. The heart becomes the compass, the mind becomes the architect, and the body becomes the engine that carries it all. He hints that soon, they'll learn how to turn visualization from fantasy into embodied memory, a technique that athletes, artists, mystics, and innovators have used for centuries. A technique that accelerates change because the body begins to believe the future is already real. And when the body believes, reality adjusts accordingly. This is where vibracio elevata becomes identity, and identity becomes destiny. And something even more powerful is about to unfold next. He assures them that emotional coherence is not about pretending to be calm or positive all the time. It's about becoming intimate with their own emotional landscape so deeply that nothing inside them feels like an enemy anymore. When the heart and mind learn to collaborate rather than compete, the entire inner world starts to breathe differently. And as this happens, their vibracio elevata isn't something they chase, it becomes a natural resting state. People around them will notice before they do. Conversations become warmer, intuition becomes clearer, and decisions stop feeling like battles. This is when they begin to elevar energia simply by entering a room. They won't need to explain their journey, because coherence is felt, not announced. And slowly, the outer world starts rearranging to reflect the peace inside. This is where they'll recognize that they've started to manifest from identity, not desire. And identity-based manifestation is the kind that holds. He leans forward slightly, as if telling them a secret that most never hear in time. Once the heart and mind agree, reality bends more easily. He promises that if they continue practicing this emotional harmony for even just 14 days, they will see shifts, subtle at first, then undeniable. Unexpected messages, supportive people, opportunities aligning, and choices that feel guided rather than forced. This is the realm where they begin to co-create with life instead of wrestling with it. And when life becomes a co-creation, results no longer feel like accidents or coincidences. They feel like responses. From here, they'll start to sting a resultador with less resistance and more flow, because they won't be pushing against themselves anymore. They'll realize that emotional coherence is not just a practice, it is a homecoming to the self they were always meant to be. And now that they've opened this door, another deeper one is waiting just ahead. Topic 3. Embodied Visualization. Turning future reality into present identity. He explains that visualization is not about seeing pictures in the mind like a movie. It is about feeling a future reality as if it is already happening now. Most people visualize from a distance, like they're watching something on a screen, but that keeps the desire far away. To truly manifest her, they must step into the scene and let the senses come alive. He invites them to recall the smell of the air, the temperature of the room, the weight of their clothing in that future moment. This is how the nervous system begins to believe the vision as memory, not fantasy. When the body believes, it naturally eleva energia to match the frequency of that reality. And a body aligned with a future identity emits a vibração elevada that calls in matching circumstances. Athletes do this before championships, singers before performances, innovators before breakthroughs. They are not daydreaming, they are rehearsing inevitability. And inevitability has a way of quietly reshaping fate. He guides them through a scenario. Imagine waking up on the first morning where life finally feels aligned with who they truly are. Not perfect, aligned. They stretch slowly, the room filled with soft morning light. The air feels warm and safe. There is no rush, no gripping in the chest, no fear about what comes next. They walk to the kitchen, open the window, feel the fresh breeze, and breathe. This simple moment holds power, because abundance doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. It arrives in peace, clarity, and steady presence. He teaches that if they can hold this sensation for even 20 seconds, they begin training identity. And identity is the strongest force in co-creator reality. It shapes tone, posture, decisions, and behaviors. One aligned decision in the morning can sting a resultador more profoundly than hours of effort made in panic. The magic is subtle, but it is real. Then, he deepens the practice. They choose a goal, something heartfelt, not rushed. Maybe it's financial freedom, meaningful work, a home that feels sacred, love that feels nourishing. Instead of imagining the result, they imagine themselves doing the ordinary things that person does every day. If they are financially abundant, they pay bills calmly, with gratitude, without dread. If they are successful in their purpose, they speak with confidence and clarity during a single conversation. If they are deeply loved, they breathe easily in their own skin. The future identity becomes familiar, almost cozy. The body starts to relax into it. Relaxation is the signal of acceptance. Acceptance is the signal of readiness. And readiness is where vibração elevada becomes magnetism. No forcing, no straining, just alignment unfolding from the inside out. He also emphasizes that embodied visualization is not about escaping the present. It's about teaching the present self how to grow into the future self. To support this growth, he suggests a daily anchor action. Something small and repeatable. If they want to feel abundant, they might light a candle before beginning work, symbolizing clarity and openness. If they want to feel confident, they may take a slow walk while breathing deeply into the chest. If they want to feel loved, they might place a hand on the heart for 10 seconds before speaking. These actions elevate energia not because of the actions themselves, but because of the meaning behind them. Meaning is what rewires identity. Identity is what rewires reality. And reality responds to the identity that is consistently embodied, not the one merely imagined. As he speaks, his tone softens, signaling that they're nearing a threshold. Embodied visualization is how the inner world begins sculpting the outer world, gently, steadily, irresistibly. Soon, they'll learn how to anchor this identity not just in the mind and body, but in behavior and choice, the bridge between potential and experience. They are preparing to step into a new rhythm, one where manifestor becomes less about asking and more about expressing. And once they learn the next layer, life will start meeting them not at their desires, but at their level of embodiment. And there is something powerful waiting just beyond that doorway. He shares that once someone begins practicing embodied visualization consistently, something almost eerie starts happening. The future self feels less like a dream and more like an inevitability. Struggle begins to feel unnatural. Doubt loses its authority. They catch themselves responding differently to situations that once triggered fear or hesitation. And this shift doesn't come with fanfare. It arrives quietly, the way sunrise doesn't announce itself, it just begins. Their vibração elevada stabilizes because the nervous system now recognizes the new identity as familiar rather than foreign. And what is familiar becomes easy to manifestor. They start noticing that opportunities appear not as accidents, but as reflections of who they are becoming. It is subtle, steady, and deeply empowering. And the deeper this embodiment settles, the more life begins to co-crier with them in real time. He promises them that if they commit to this practice for even 10 minutes a day, just 10, reality will begin to shift in ways they cannot currently predict. The right people will call, the timing of events will feel orchestrated, and obstacles will seem to rearrange themselves. They will stinger resultador not through force, but through resonance. This is the point where effort transitions into influence, and influence transitions into flow. He assures them that the future self they've been imagining is not a fantasy. It is already alive in the field of possibility, waiting to be embodied. Once they step fully into that identity, reality no longer has a choice but to adjust. This isn't magic, it's alignment. And just ahead, there is a deeper teaching that shows how to maintain this frequency when life becomes loud. Topic 4. Action from alignment. Letting behavior match identity. He explains that once the inner state is aligned and the future self begins to feel real, the next step is to let behavior reflect that identity. Most people try to take action first, hoping that action will create belief, but that's backwards. Action with a tense nervous system only repeats old patterns. Action taken from a vibração elevada naturally generates different outcomes. So instead of pushing forward, he invites them to act from a place of calm certainty. They ask, what would the version of me who has already arrived do next? This question is powerful because it bypasses fear and awakens inner wisdom. When someone moves from identity rather than insecurity, their presence shifts the way conversations unfold and opportunities respond. This is where they begin to elevar energia not just inside, but into the world. He offers a real-life example. Imagine someone who wants to manifest their financial freedom but feels anxious every time they check their bank account. Instead of avoiding the account or obsessing over it, they start by regulating their breathing first, calming the body so the action is taken from coherence, not fear. Then they look at the account slowly, without judgment, as if they were supporting a dear friend. This single act tells the subconscious, I am capable of being in relationship with money without panic. That is identity work. Over time, they might send one polite follow-up to a client, or raise their rates by 5%, or track expenses with clarity, not to fix something, but to embody someone new. This is how they begin to co-crier their relationship with the material world. one aligned action at a time. He reminds them that aligned action is not loud, it's consistent. It doesn't rush, brag, or panic. It moves like water, quietly, patiently, always finding a way. The future self they visualized knows how to move with ease. So they practice making decisions from that version of themselves. If the future self is confident, they speak slowly and clearly instead of rushing words. If the future self is abundant, they walk with spaciousness instead of urgency. If the future self is grounded, they breathe before answering questions rather than reacting. These micro-behaviors rewrite the nervous system in real time. And as the nervous system rewires, life begins to stinger resultador with less resistance. This is alignment turning into momentum. Momentum that doesn't exhaust. Momentum that sustains. He then introduces the concept of energy-first scheduling. Instead of planning the day around tasks, they plan around the states that support those tasks. For example, meditation before communication, grounding before decision-making, rest before creative work. This ensures every action begins in a vibracio elevada, rather than a stressed or depleted one. To elevar energia before action means the action lands differently. Clearer, cleaner, more magnetic. He suggests short rituals, a deep breath before opening messages, a stretch before meetings, a moment of gratitude before spending money. These rituals teach the subconscious that life is not something to survive, but something to collaborate with. This is how aligned action becomes a lifestyle rather than an occasional moment of clarity. As he continues, his tone becomes calm and assured, like someone guiding by memory rather than theory. The truth is, once someone learns to act from identity rather than fear, they no longer need to be motivated. Momentum becomes natural. Discipline becomes gentle. Progress becomes inevitable. They begin to feel that they are no longer chasing change. They are inhabiting it. And as they inhabit it, reality reshapes quietly, steadily, beautifully. Soon they will learn how to protect this identity even when life tests them, because life always tests what is becoming strong. And that next understanding opens a deeper door, one that leads into resilience, trust, and the art of staying in frequency. He reminds them that acting from alignment doesn't mean waiting for the perfect mood. It means returning to the centered state before moving. Even on chaotic days, even when emotions feel messy, they can pause, breathe, and re-enter a vibracio elevada for just 60 seconds. And in that 60 seconds, the entire trajectory of their next decision shifts. Most people act from urgency, fear, or old habits, and then wonder why they keep repeating the same outcomes. But when they elevar energia first, the same task becomes infused with clarity instead of panic. Emails written from calm land differently than emails written from anxiety. Conversations held from groundedness inspire trust instead of tension. This is how alignment accumulates. And alignment that accumulates eventually becomes identity. And identity that stabilizes begins to manifest results that once seemed impossible. Then he offers a promise, not exaggerated, not dramatic, simply true. If they commit to acting from alignment instead of stress, life will begin coordinating in ways that feel orchestrated. They'll notice the right person calling at the right moment, the right idea arriving during a walk, the right opportunity surfacing without force. This is not luck. It is resonance. They are beginning to co-crier with life instead of bracing against it. They no longer need to push to sting a resultador. The results begin rising to meet them. And once they taste this even once, the old way of forcing will feel foreign. This is the beginning of ease, but not the end. Because soon, something new enters. The ability to stay aligned even when triggered, challenged, or stretched. And that is the threshold of mastery, which is precisely where we are headed next. Topic 5. Staying in frequency when life tests you. He explains that transformation isn't proven when everything is easy. It's proven in the moments where the old triggers try to return. The universe doesn't test to punish, it tests to stabilize. When someone begins living from a vibracio elevata, life will gently, and sometimes not so gently, check if the new identity is real or temporary. A message comes that stings a little. A delay happens. An expectation falls through. The old self wants to panic, tighten, or react. But the new self has a different instruction. Pause first. Respond later. This pause is where they elevar energia instead of leaking it. The pause is where they manifest their maturity instead of repeating history. The pause is the doorway to mastery. And mastery is what makes change irreversible. He offers a simple but powerful practice for these moments. When a trigger arises, they place one hand on the chest and breathe into it for 10 slow seconds. No fixing, no analysis, no storytelling, just breath and presence. This tells the nervous system, we are safe right now. And when the body becomes safe, the mind becomes wise. From this state, they ask one question: what would my future self choose here? The future self might choose patience, clarity, or silence. They might choose to walk away, or to express themselves calmly, or to simply not react. This is how the body learns to co-create new outcomes in real time. The trigger becomes a training ground. A moment that once caused collapse now becomes a moment that stinger resultador in the direction of growth. He reminds them that emotion is not the enemy. Unconscious reaction is. Emotion is just energy moving. Anger is energy that wants to create a boundary. Sadness is energy that wants to release something heavy. Fear is energy that wants to protect something precious. When they allow the emotion to move through the body, breathing, shaking the hands gently, walking slowly, humming softly, the emotion completes its cycle. And once it completes, clarity rises like calm water. This is how someone maintains a vibracio elevata even while grieving, rebuilding, or changing. They elevar energia not by suppressing the emotion, but by honoring its message. When emotion is felt cleanly, without narrative, it leaves the body. The old identity leaves with it, and a new layer of self emerges. He emphasizes that triggers are not signs of failure, they are signs of expansion. If someone is being tested, it's because they are moving. No one tests the version of themselves that stays small. Life only applies pressure where growth is happening. So when the old patterns arise, they remember, this is not who I am now, this is who I'm outgrowing. They return to the breath, to the warmth, to coherence. They remind themselves, I have already begun to manifester the new reality. I'm just learning how to hold it. They speak to themselves gently, because gentleness is strength. And every time they choose presence instead of reaction, they anchor deeper into identity. And identity is what reality mirrors. Every time, without exception. As he speaks, the tone becomes steady and reassuring, like someone who has walked this path and knows where it leads. He hints that soon, they will learn how to use these moments of emotional testing to actually accelerate the manifestation process rather than delay it. They will learn how to co-create with contrast, how to convert discomfort into alignment, and how to use disruption as a doorway to deeper embodiment. The very moments that once made them collapse will soon become the moments that lift them higher. And the next teaching shows exactly how to do that. How to turn every challenge into fuel that stinger resultador in the direction of abundance, ease, and quiet self-trust. And once they understand that, the game changes entirely. He tells them that the moment they stay calm in a situation that once would have shattered them, something irreversible shifts inside. That single moment is proof that the new identity is real. It is not theoretical anymore. It is embodied. And embodiment is what sustains a vibracio elevata even in uncertainty. He reminds them that the universe responds to the energy they hold, not the words they say. When they choose presence instead of panic, clarity instead of reaction, they elevar energia in the middle of challenge, not just in meditation. That is the difference between temporary spiritual highs and true transformation. And once the universe sees that they no longer abandon themselves under pressure, it begins to trust them with more. More opportunities, more blessings, more alignment to manifest her with grace. Then he offers a promise, spoken softly, like someone handing over a key that has always belonged to them. The challenges that once made them contract will soon become the very moments that expand them. Their heart will stay open where it once would have closed. Their breath will remain steady where it once would have hitched. Their voice will stay clear where it once would have trembled. This is what it means to co-cry a reality, to no longer be moved by every wave, but to become the one who chooses how to move with the tide. From here, they will begin to stinger resultador without force, because the one who is not shaken becomes magnetic. And when a person becomes magnetic, life does not just change, it rearranges itself around them. Topic 6. The Quantum Feedback Loop. Reality responds to who you are becoming. He explains that once someone can stay in alignment through emotional triggers, something extraordinary begins to happen. Life starts responding faster. The external world becomes a mirror, reflecting the internal frequency with remarkable precision. This is the quantum feedback loop. Not a theory, but a lived experience. When their inner state is steady, reality shifts to match it. A vibração elevada sends out a signal that draws in people, opportunities, ideas, and timing that resonate with it. They are no longer trying to manifest her. They are naturally selecting experiences that match their identity. This is how someone begins to elevar energia not just in meditation, but in everyday life. And everyday life is where transformation actually becomes real. He describes it like tuning a radio. If someone is broadcasting fear, even unconsciously, they will notice situations that confirm it: delays, misunderstandings, closed doors. But when they shift into calm, grounded assurance, the world begins to feel welcoming, supportive, responsive. They start noticing synchronicities, the right message arriving at the right time, a conversation leading to an unexpected opportunity, a door opening without force. And the more they notice, the more they believe. And the more they believe, the more they co-crier. This loop accelerates, not because of effort, but because of coherence. Coherence is attractive. Confidence is attractive. Ease is attractive. A person who trusts their path emits a vibração elevada that others can feel without them saying a word. He gives them a practical exercise to strengthen this loop. Every night before sleep, they recall 3 moments from the day that reflected alignment, even small ones. Maybe they chose patience instead of reacting. Maybe they asked a clearer question. Maybe they caught a negative thought and replaced it with dignity. They write these 3 moments in a journal titled Proof of Becoming. This journal is not a diary. It is evidence. Evidence that reinforces identity. Identity that stabilizes energy. Energy that shapes reality. And reality that reflects the new identity back to them, day after day. This is how they stinger resultador without hype, forcing, or burnout. It happens through repetition, presence, and gentle certainty. He emphasizes that this loop works both ways. If they abandon themselves, reality reflects that too. So the key is not perfection. It is return. The ability to return to center, return to breath, return to presence, return to the version of themselves who knows. And the more quickly they return, the less momentum the old patterns can build. Returning is mastery. They learn to return in the middle of a conversation, in the middle of disappointment, in the middle of uncertainty. When they return, they elevar energia instantly. When they return, they manifest her from clarity instead of fear. When they return, they co-crier instead of collapse. And that return gets easier each time, like a path in a forest becoming a walkway. As he speaks, the tone grows warm and grounded, as if placing a steady hand on their shoulder. He hints that soon, They will learn how to amplify this loop to the point where their presence alone influences environments, where they can walk into a room and shift the emotional weather simply by being, where their nervous system becomes a sanctuary that others feel drawn to. This is where Vibrakeo Elevata becomes leadership, and leadership becomes quiet power. And there is another layer coming, one that shows how to carry this identity into relationships, purpose, creativity, and contribution. Because once the self is aligned, the world is next. He tells them that the moment they begin to see the feedback loop in action, everything about their journey changes. Because now the results are no longer theoretical, they are visible. The right person replies. The opportunity that once felt distant now sits in their inbox. A door that was closed yesterday suddenly opens. Not because they forced anything, but because their Vibrakeo Elevata began sending a new signal into the field. When someone learns to deliberately elevar energia, the world starts interacting with them differently. They stop chasing outcomes and start attracting alignment. They stop begging reality to respond and start expecting it to. And expectation is not arrogance, it is trust. A deep trust that their identity is finally leading the way. And when identity leads, they manifester becomes natural, fluid, and continuous. Then he offers a promise that feels both grounded and electric. If they continue nurturing this feedback loop, noticing, honoring, returning, life will begin moving toward them faster than they move toward it. They will co-create opportunities that did not exist before. They will stinger resultador with less effort, less stress, and less second-guessing. The world will start mirroring their inner clarity with outer clarity. Their inner harmony will create outer harmony. Their inner confidence will create outer stability. And their inner expansion will create outer expansion. People will ask them, "What changed?" And they will smile, because the change won't be something they did. It will be something they became. And when someone becomes aligned at this level, the next evolution is inevitable. Topic 7. The Art of Receiving, Allowing the Good to Actually Land. He explains that many people do the inner work with sincerity. They meditate, visualize, journal, breathe. But when the results finally begin to appear, they unconsciously push them away. Not because they don't want abundance, but because they aren't yet practiced in receiving it. Receiving requires softness, permission, and a willingness to feel worthy. A Vibrakeo Elevata can call abundance in, but the nervous system must feel safe to hold it. To truly manifester, the heart must be open to let what arrives stay. He describes receiving as the moment where identity and reality shake hands. The new self says, "Yes, this is for me." And the body relaxes instead of tensing. This relaxation is the signal that abundance has finally found a home. He offers a simple example. Someone receives a compliment. Instead of taking it in, they rush to minimize it. "Oh, it's nothing. I just got lucky. Anyone could have done it." This seems harmless, but each dismissal teaches the subconscious that goodness is unsafe to accept. The same happens with money, love, opportunities, praise, attention. So he introduces a gentle training. When something good comes, pause. Breathe. Feel it. Don't deflect. Don't justify. Just receive. This is how they elevar energia from the inside out. The more the body experiences safe receiving, the more easily they co-create larger blessings. Receiving is not passive. It is an active alignment. A choosing, a welcoming, a door held open. He explains that receiving also requires making space, emotionally, physically, and energetically. If someone wants new opportunities, they may need to clear old ones that don't align. If they want new love, they may need to release stories that say they are too much or not enough. If they want financial expansion, they may need to create structure, a savings account, a clear invoice system, a clean workspace. These small, practical steps signal readiness. Readiness signals trust. Trust stabilizes a vibracio elevada even as life accelerates. This is how they manifest growth that doesn't overwhelm. They are preparing a space for abundance to sit down, take off its shoes, and rest a while. Abundance stays where it feels welcomed. He then teaches the difference between desire and allowing. Desire reaches forward, allowing opens. Desire can sometimes carry tension, even when well-intentioned. Allowing carries warmth. They learn to soften the shoulders, relax the jaw, loosen the belly, let the breath deepen and widen. This is the body saying, yes. When the body says yes, the universe says yes in return. This is how they stinger resultador without pressure. They stop trying to force timing. They stop trying to control how blessings arrive. They simply hold the frequency that matches the life they are calling in. And frequency speaks louder than effort ever will. His tone becomes serene, almost tender now, because this is the moment where the journey shifts from effort into elegance. Receiving is the final piece that makes everything else finally work. And once they learn how to receive fully, without guilt, without fear, without shrinking, the flow of abundance becomes continuous, not sporadic. They will no longer fear losing what arrives, because they will know how to hold it with grace. And soon, he says, they will learn how to not only hold abundance, but expand it. How to let blessing multiply naturally, like breath, like rhythm, like the gentle tide returning to shore. He tells them that receiving is not an act of luck, it is an act of identity. The person who believes they are worthy receives with ease. The person who doubts their worth tries to earn, beg, prove, or chase. But they are no longer that version of themselves. They have learned to breathe through fear, to hold emotional coherence, to elevar energia even when life became loud. Now, receiving becomes a celebration of all the inner work they have done. When something good comes, they do not step back, they step toward it. They let themselves feel the warmth of it in the chest, like sunlight expanding behind the ribs. This warmth is the nervous system rewriting itself. And once it rewrites, they can manifest her without resistance, because there is no longer a part of them that feels unworthy of good. The heart finally says, I belong to abundance. Then he promises something that feels both grounded and thrilling. Once they master receiving, life begins to move toward them fast. Doors that once took months open in days. People who once seemed distant begin reaching out. Opportunities that felt like dreams start landing in their reality. This is not a miracle. It is alignment doing what alignment always does. They begin to co-crier with life in a rhythm that feels natural, fluid, and deeply human. They stinger resultador simply by staying open instead of shrinking. And the world responds to openness like flowers respond to sunlight, naturally, inevitably, beautifully. Soon they will learn how to grow what they receive, how to expand abundance, not just attract it. And that next teaching is where true prosperity begins to root itself into the ground of their life. Topic 8. Expansion. Letting abundance multiply through expression. He explains that receiving is only the beginning. The next evolution is expansion. Expansion means allowing what is good to grow simply because it exists. Most people try to hold on tightly to blessings when they arrive, gripping love, gripping money, gripping opportunities, because they fear losing them. But gripping is the language of scarcity. Expansion is the language of trust. When they truly hold a vibracio elevada, they do not cling, they circulate. They let energy move through them the way breath moves through the lungs, in, out, naturally. This is how abundance multiplies. Not through hoarding, but through flow. When they trust flow, they elevar energia effortlessly, and everything around them begins to grow simply by being touched by their presence. He invites them to imagine abundance like a river rather than a container. A container must be guarded, monitored, protected, it has limits. But a river replenishes itself. It moves. It nourishes everything around it. If someone has money, and they use it with intention, generosity, and clarity, that money circulates and returns in new forms. Opportunities, clients, ideas, invitations. If someone has love, and they express it freely without fear, that love deepens and expands. This is how they manifest a life that feels full. Not full of things, but full of aliveness. Expansion means they no longer fear giving, because they no longer fear lack. Lack is no longer part of their identity. And identity is always what the universe responds to. He offers practical expressions of expansion because growth is not just spiritual, it becomes behavioral. When they feel grounded in abundance, they may choose to upgrade small things in their environment. Fresh flowers on the table, cleaner spaces, better ingredients for dinner, a softer tone in their conversations. These choices are not luxury, they are signals. They say to the subconscious, I live in a world where beauty is normal, where nourishment is allowed, where pleasure is safe. And when the subconscious believes that pleasure is safe, it stops bracing against it. This is how they co-create joy without waiting for permission. Joy becomes a practice, not an accident. And the body learns that life is meant to feel good. He reminds them that expansion will ask them to take up space, physically, emotionally, verbally, to speak their ideas clearly instead of shrinking, to show their gifts instead of hiding, to make decisions from the version of themselves who knows they are capable, worthy, and supported. This is where they begin to stinger resultador not through pressure, but through authenticity. They don't need to force confidence. They simply stop abandoning themselves in moments where confidence is needed. Expansion is not loud, but it is undeniable. People can feel it. Rooms shift when someone who is self-sourced walks in. They are learning to become that person, one breath, one act, one aligned choice at a time. And then he speaks softly, knowing what comes next. Expansion naturally leads to contribution. Not because of obligation, but because overflow always seeks somewhere to land. And in the next phase of this journey, they will begin to understand how their presence influences others. Not through preaching, but through embodiment. Through how they listen, how they move, how they choose, how they remain calm in spaces where others collapse. This is where Vibratio Elevata becomes leadership. And leadership becomes transformation, not only for themselves, but for anyone who meets them. And that is the doorway they are drifting toward now. He tells them that expansion is the moment life stops being something they chase and becomes something they emanate. They realize that their presence alone influences the room, not by effort, but by frequency. A Vibratio Elevata doesn't need to be explained, it is felt. And people feel safe around those who are safe within themselves. This is how they begin to elevar energia in others simply by staying grounded in themselves. They'll notice people asking for advice, opening up emotionally, gravitating toward them. Not because they are trying to impress anyone, but because alignment radiates. Expansion is not about becoming better than others. It's about becoming more fully themselves. And as they embody this fullness, they manifest their opportunities, relationships, and experiences that match their expanded self, without pushing, without forcing, without strain. Then he offers a promise spoken with calm certainty. If they continue to honor their expansion, the world will reorganize itself to meet them where they stand now, not where they used to be. They will co-create from overflow instead of from need. Their decisions will come from clarity rather than fear. The way they speak will soften, deepen, strengthen. Their presence will become magnetic, steady, unmistakable. And they will stinger resultador with less effort because they are no longer acting against themselves. This is where manifestation becomes natural, gentle, rhythmic. Not a performance, not a technique, but a state of being. And from this state, something profound begins to awaken, the desire to share this transformation with others, not to teach them, but to invite them. And that leads us to the next expansion of the journey. Topic 9. Energetic influence. Transforming others without saying a word. He explains that true impact has nothing to do with persuasion, preaching, or convincing. Real influence happens through presence. When someone has anchored a vibracio elevata deeply into their body, others feel it before a word is spoken. It's in the way they breathe, how they hold their shoulders, the steadiness in their gaze. People sense safety around them. Not the kind of safety that avoids discomfort, but the kind of safety that says, it's okay to exhale here. This is what makes their presence healing. They don't have to try to inspire anyone. Inspiration simply happens. And through this quiet power, they naturally begin to elevar energia in the environments they enter. Not by force, but by being. He gives a real-world example. Two people walk into a room. One carries quiet steadiness, open awareness, and grounded confidence. The other carries tension, urgency, and self-doubt. Everyone feels the difference, even if no one comments on it. This is because the nervous system communicates faster than language. And once someone has learned to manifest their inner peace consistently, they become a calming influence without effort. Their energy speaks for them. Their silence speaks for them. Their presence reminds others of what is possible. And this is where leadership is born, not from control, but from coherence. Coherence is magnetic, and magnetism is the purest form of influence. He teaches that the greatest service they can offer others is to remain themselves in every room, not shrinking to make others comfortable, not inflating to impress, simply being. People who are deeply embodied give others permission to return to themselves. This is how they begin to truly co-create with the world around them. They are no longer reacting to the emotional weather of others. They set the weather. They are not trying to fix anyone. They are demonstrating what alignment looks and feels like. And this demonstration invites others to rise without needing to be told to. Influence becomes natural, gentle, almost invisible. It feels like love in motion. He reminds them that energetic influence also means maintaining boundaries. Not walls, but clarity. Boundaries are not about exclusion. They are about calibration. When someone has cultivated a stable inner frequency, they do not allow environments, conversations, or relationships that consistently pull them out of alignment. They can love people without carrying their emotional weight. They can support others without abandoning themselves. This is how they continue to stinger resultador while staying grounded. Their energy remains clean. Their presence remains clear. And clarity is what the world is starving for. Then his tone shifts just slightly. Softer, deeper, almost devotional. He tells them that once someone begins to influence the world through presence alone, life will start placing them in rooms they never expected to be in. Rooms where their frequency is needed. Rooms where their steadiness becomes the catalyst for change. This is the doorway where personal transformation becomes collective transformation. Where inner alignment begins shaping outer culture. Where the individual becomes the lighthouse. And soon, they will learn how to shine without burning out, how to lead without forcing, and how to uplift without losing themselves. He explains that this kind of influence doesn't require a stage, a platform, or an audience. It happens in grocery stores, at dinner tables, in quiet conversations on balconies, in the way someone listens fully without rushing to respond. A vibracio elevata invites others to soften, not through instruction but through resonance. When they hold this field of calm awareness, even people who are anxious will unconsciously begin to slow their breath to match them. This is the nervous system's natural coherence response. They are learning to elevar energia not just for themselves, but for the room. And this is what makes them unforgettable. People won't remember every word they say, but they will remember how they felt in their presence. That feeling is the embodiment of truth. And truth, when lived quietly, is the most magnetic force in the world. Then he offers a promise spoken with clarity and confidence. The kind that doesn't try to convince, because it simply knows. If they continue developing this level of presence, doors will open that logic cannot explain. They will manifest relationships that feel effortless, opportunities that feel destined, timing that feels orchestrated. They will co-create connections that nourish growth instead of draining it. They will sting a resultador simply by being anchored in themselves while others are searching outside. People will come to them for guidance without them ever needing to announce they have something to offer. This is influence without performing. Leadership without force. Power without pressure. And the next topic moves them into the final stage, where this presence begins to reshape the direction of their entire life. Topic 10. Purpose in motion. Living as the future self every day. He explains that purpose is not something they need to find. It is something that emerges naturally when their inner world becomes stable and coherent. Most people search for purpose as if it were a hidden treasure buried somewhere outside themselves. But purpose is not discovered through striving. It reveals itself when a person learns to live as the version of themselves they have been becoming all along. When their identity is rooted in a vibracio elevada, purpose begins to feel less like a mystery and more like a direction. It's not dramatic. It's not always fireworks. It's a gentle, steady knowing that says, this is the path that feels like truth. From this knowing, they start to elevar energia through the smallest daily choices. Purpose is not one grand moment. It is 1,000 aligned moments in motion. He offers a practical lens. Purpose is simply where their authenticity meets service. Not sacrifice. Not martyrdom. Service is contribution that nourishes both giver and receiver. A conversation that lifts another person. A project that lights their heart. A message they feel compelled to share. When they act from alignment, purpose doesn't feel heavy, it feels alive. And this aliveness is how they manifest their impact without burnout. They don't have to force creativity or clarity. Inspiration begins arriving on its own. Ideas come during walks. Insights come in the shower. Solutions appear without struggle. This is purpose moving through the nervous system like warm current. This is purpose choosing them. He reminds them that living purposefully is not about perfection. There will still be days where they feel tired, uncertain, human. Purpose doesn't require them to be unstoppable. It requires them to be present, to keep returning to themselves, to keep choosing truth over performance, to keep showing up even when no one is watching. This is how they co-create a life that feels meaningful from the inside out. And purpose grows slowly, like roots deepening beneath the soil before anything is visible above ground. They are in the rooting phase now. The growth will come. The flowering is inevitable. He offers an anchoring practice. Each morning, before moving into the day, they ask one question. What action today keeps me in integrity with who I am becoming? The answer might be small. Sending a message they've been avoiding. Saying no to something that drains them. Saying yes to something that lights them up. These small acts generate identity momentum. And identity momentum is how they stinger resultador consistently. One aligned act per day changes a life faster than 30 forced acts done in fear. This is the quiet, powerful rhythm of the future self expressing itself now. And as he speaks, there is a warmth rising behind his words, because they are now standing at the threshold of something profound. They are no longer learning transformation. They are living it. Their frequency has changed. Their habits have changed. Their presence has changed. And now, their path is beginning to unfold with clarity. The next step is not about effort, but about allowing what has already been set in motion to take form. Because the future self is not approaching anymore. The future self is here. And something new is about to open from this realization. He tells them that once purpose becomes something they live instead of something they chase, life starts to feel oddly synchronized. The right people show up. Conversations become meaningful. Projects align with timing that feels uncanny. This is the universe responding to a vibracio elevata that is no longer temporary. It's embodied. They don't need to convince anyone of who they are now. Their energy speaks first. When they elevar energia from within, the external world begins to move around them like an ecosystem adjusting to a new center of gravity. And the most extraordinary part, it feels natural, effortless, even quiet. This is how they manifest their impact without pushing, forcing, or hustling. The new reality begins shaping itself around their presence. Then he promises something subtle but life-changing. Their purpose will not arrive all at once. It will unfold. One step leads to the next. One aligned choice opens the next doorway. One conversation leads to a connection that shifts everything. This is how they co-create destiny. Not through pressure, but through responsiveness. They learn to move when life moves, to pause when life pauses, to listen when life whispers. They stop demanding certainty before taking a step, because now they feel the path inside their body. And when someone lives this way, steady, open, rooted, they begin to sting a resultador simply by being who they are. And the next stage of this journey will show them how to stay in this frequency as their life expands in ways they once believed were impossible. Topic 11. Integration. When the inner reality becomes the outer reality. He explains that integration is the moment where there is no longer a difference between who they are and who they were trying to become. The gap closes. The effort softens. The inner world and the outer world begin to match consistently. This is where a vibracio elevata stops being a practice and becomes a baseline. They no longer have to remember to elevar energia. Their body now does it automatically, like a muscle that has grown strong from daily use. This is what real transformation feels like, not dramatic, but steady and unmistakable. They wake up differently. They move differently. Their thoughts land in a calmer tone. They breathe with more space inside the chest. And life begins to respond to them as if it recognizes them, because it does. He shares that integration is not about achieving some perfect spiritual state where nothing ever bothers them again. Life will still offer contrast. Challenges still appear. People still act in unexpected ways. But instead of being thrown off center, they return to themselves faster, sometimes in minutes, sometimes in seconds. The return is the mastery. The return is how they manifest their stability in the middle of unpredictability. They don't pretend to be calm, they choose calm. And choosing calm is an act of power. This is how someone begins to co-create reality even as it's unfolding in real time. Their energy sets the tone. Their presence influences the moment. Their nervous system becomes the anchor, not the storm. He encourages them to notice how small things have changed. The way they reply to messages, the pace of their voice, the decisions they make automatically now. These are signs of identity shift. An identity shift is the deepest change a human can experience, because identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. When identity stabilizes at a vibracio elevata, destiny rearranges to match it. They no longer need to chase opportunities. Opportunities recognize them. They no longer need to perform worthiness. They embody it. This is why they now sting a resultador with far less effort than before. Not because life has gotten easier, but because they have become someone who moves with life instead of against it. He explains that integration also means releasing any remaining attachment to speed. The future is no longer a place they're trying to get to. It's a place they are living from. They have learned that true creation happens now, in the present moment. Not in fantasies of tomorrow or regrets of yesterday. So their focus becomes simple. Who am I being in this moment? That question is the compass. When they answer it with honesty, softness, and presence, the next step always reveals itself. This is how intuition becomes practical, how vision becomes tangible, how the inner world expresses itself outwardly with ease. They are no longer guessing their path, they are remembering it. And he smiles, because this is where something beautiful happens quietly. Gratitude becomes natural. Not forced gratitude, not gratitude journaling to get results, but gratitude that rises on its own, like sunlight through a window. They feel grateful for the smallest parts of life: warm clothes, soft light, a deep breath, a quiet moment. This kind of gratitude deepens their vibración elevada effortlessly. It continues to elevar energía without them trying to. They are living in a reality that matches who they have become, and the world feels different because they are different. And from this place, something new is beginning to open. Something even more expansive, subtle, and powerful is approaching, waiting to take shape in the next phase of their becoming. He tells them that integration is the moment where their life begins to feel like it fits. Not because everything becomes perfect, but because they have become harmonious inside themselves. They feel at home in their own body. They trust their own timing. They know how to return to presence even when the world speeds up. This is the kind of inner stability that cannot be taken away by circumstance. A vibración elevada is no longer something they visit, it is where they live. And from this place, they elevar energía in every environment they walk into. People begin to notice the softness in their face, the steadiness in their voice, the ease in how they hold themselves. This is when others start saying things like, "You seem different. I don't know what it is, but it feels peaceful." And they'll know exactly what changed. Then he offers a promise spoken from deep certainty. From here, manifestation speeds up. Not chaotically, not overwhelmingly, organically. Opportunities begin to feel synchronized. Decisions feel guided. Their desires and their reality start moving toward each other at the same pace. They no longer wonder if they can manifest her. They know they can. They no longer question whether life is responding. They see it responding. They co-crier not by effort, but by alignment. And they stinger resultador simply by staying true to who they have become. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of living it. And now, they are ready for the final step. Learning how to sustain this identity across time, seasons, and chapters, so the inner reality remains unshakable no matter how life expands. Topic 12. Continuity. Making the transformation last for life. He explains that the final stage of transformation is not intensity, it is continuity. The journey is no longer about achieving breakthroughs, chasing insights, or having emotional peaks. It becomes about living in a way that sustains alignment gently, consistently, and naturally. A vibración elevada is not something they create, it is something they maintain like tending to a quiet flame. The flame does not need to be made larger, it simply needs to be kept warm. Continuity comes from choosing presence over urgency, breath over reactivity, identity over fear. When they learn to elevar energía through simple daily practices, the transformation becomes permanent. Stability becomes normal. Peace becomes familiar. And life begins to feel undeniably theirs. He tells them that continuity requires devotion, not discipline. Devotion is rooted in love, a soft desire to care for the self. Discipline often comes from force or fear. Devotion feels like, I take care of myself because I want to stay close to who I am becoming. A few minutes of breathing, a slow intentional walk, a gentle moment of reflection. These practices ensure they continue to manifest from alignment instead of survival. They are no longer pushing to stay in frequency. The frequency is their home. They just need to visit it each day, briefly, intentionally, and willingly. This is what makes identity stable. He shows them that continuity also means honoring seasons. There will be periods of expansion and periods of rest. Times of visibility and times of quiet retreat. Times of doing and times of simply being. They no longer fear the quieter seasons, because they now understand that integration happens in the spaces where nothing appears to be happening. The identity continues evolving even in silence. Their co-crier process continues even in stillness. And they continue to stinger resultador even when others cannot see the work taking place. Real transformation is no longer measured by what is visible, but by what is felt. He encourages them to create a rhythm that supports stability. A weekly reset where they reflect on how they showed up. A monthly check-in where they realign with their values. A daily practice, no matter how small, that reconnects them to peace. These rhythms make identity durable. A vibracio elevata becomes woven into the architecture of their life. They begin to notice that setbacks no longer pull them off course. They simply redirect them gently back to themselves. There is no drama, no collapse, no self-abandonment, just return, again and again, with tenderness and certainty. And then, with a tone that is both grounded and quietly powerful, he tells them the truth. The version of themselves they have been becoming is not new. It is the original self beneath the conditioning, the fear, the noise. They have not changed into someone else. They have returned to themselves. And now, life will continue meeting them at the level of their embodiment. The transformation is not something they will need to hold on to. It is something that will begin holding them. He tells them that the deepest mastery is not to rise once, but to rise again and again, gently, steadily, without drama. They now know how to pause, breathe, return, and recenter. They know how to hold a vibracio elevata even in moments of uncertainty. They know how to elevar energia without needing motivation or hype. They know how to manifest their reality from identity instead of desperation. And because they know, the world can no longer pull them back into who they once were. They are not fragile. They are not beginning. They are rooted. They have become someone who can walk through life with softness and unshakable self-trust. And this is the kind of transformation that does not fade. It lives in them. Then he promises what is true for every person who reaches this stage. Their life will not return to what it was before. It can't. They've already expanded past the version of themselves who doubted, rushed, and chased. They now co-crier instead of control. They now stinger resultador through resonance instead of effort. They are no longer waiting for permission to live. They are living. And the world will feel different now. Not because the world has changed, but because they have. The path ahead is not about striving. It is about allowing. Not about holding tightly, but about opening. Not about seeking, but about remembering. They are home in themselves, and from here, everything begins. So now the question isn't, can you manifest? You already can. You always could. The real question is, are you finally willing to live as the version of yourself who receives? Because everything we explored here means nothing if it stays as just information. Your life changes when this becomes embodiment. When your breath slows before your decisions. When your presence enters the room before your words. When your energy becomes your strategy. So ask yourself right now, and don't rush the answer. What would change today if you stopped acting like who you were and started responding like who you're becoming? Would you speak differently? Would you walk differently? Would you choose rest instead of panic? Would you finally stop apologizing for wanting more? Would you allow yourself to actually receive? Your future is not waiting for you. It's asking for you. Not louder. Not later. And if this message touched something in you, even something small, then I want you to pause, breathe, and feel that shift happening inside your chest. That's the doorway. That's the real beginning. So before you go, Tell me in the comments. What part of your old self are you ready to release today? And if you're ready to keep evolving, to keep remembering who you truly are, make sure you subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss the next steps of this journey. We're doing this together.